Welcome back to the show, and thank you for returning back to this channel, the podcast where we discuss business, personal finance, and self-improvement. Today, I am joined by none other than the absolute legend in the self-help space. We're talking about none other than Tai Lopez. Tai, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Tai, look, before there was Iman Gadzi and before there was Andrew Tate, there was a guy called Tai Lopez, you know? And I'm not saying that he's similar to those necessarily, but in the sense where before talking about self-improvement and knowledge was cool, there was Tai Lopez who talked about marketing agencies and how a young person could improve their life, become a 1% man, start having more sources of income, and basically get out the hood, get out the rat race, get out the matrix, as they say. Here in my garage. So if you guys don't know, I've been a huge fan of Tai Lopez since a young age. Your videos personally inspired me to start my own marketing agency when you used to talk about SMMA. So for that, definitely thank you. Really quick, I want to start this episode by asking you if you could to summarize 30 seconds of your life story. Just a 30-second summary of your life story so far. And maybe a quick intro as well about you for those who somehow don't know about you.
Okay. I was born, my mom was a single mom. My dad was in prison when I was born. I was born in LA, California. And I always tried to make money. When I was like 5 or 6, I had a lemonade stand.
Wow.
Trying to make some money. But society didn't support that. So I ended up, went to school, high school, lived in a mobile home. And when I was 19, I met my first mentor. And he was a farmer. I went to live on a farm, learn discipline.
Yeah.
Learn how to wake up at 5 in the morning, work 16 hours. And then I started, I was one of the first people to build a funnel, 2001.
Wow.
So I started as a teenager. I built a funnel. I bought a course online by a guy named Corey Rudel, $300. All the money I had, it came in a notebook.
Yeah.
There was no YouTube yet.
Yeah.
There was no videos. I bought it and it said, catch new trends early, Google AdWords.
Wow.
So I was one of the when Google AdWords was 2 months old, I built a Google ad.
Wow.
And it took me I was broke, less $47 in my bank account, sleeping on a couch, and I started generating leads.
Yeah.
And then sales. Those are the two things. If you can generate lead and call, I started cold calling, or at least warm calling people, and I got to $8,000 a month. Then my life, I never looked back. Wow. I built multiple businesses. I bought my first company, bought a nightclub business in North Carolina. Then I built all kinds of businesses, dating sites, consulting. Then 2012, I was like, this personal brand thing is going to be big. So Instagram was new. Mark Zuckerberg bought Instagram. And I was like, yo, I'm going to build me a personal brand. So I built a podcast. I went live in 2013. 100 people watching me live. I made $100,000 off 100 people.
Wow.
$1,000, like a $2,000 product. It was crazy. I had 50% conversion rate. So then I did a TEDx talk that blew up. Then I did Here in My Garage video, which is probably the most watched commercial in human history. I have a few different versions. It's got 400 million people watched it.
With the Lamborghini.
And
the library.
Yeah. It was people thought it was a scam. People didn't realize I got my first Lamborghini, Maserati, Ferrari in 2006. So people thought I just rented it just for so it was good to have. You want some controversy. Controversy makes you go.
You're a marketing expert, man. We have to talk about it. But
trigger people's brain, man. Don't be, I tell people, don't be thin skinned. Don't be sensitive. I didn't care that I had haters. In fact, my friend, who I think is the best marketer in the world, he's this secretive guy. When he saw my Here in My Garage, he's like, dude, is this you creating all this hate on a bot? And I was like, fuck no. I was like, what? Like a bot. He thought I automated. And I was like, why? He's like, oh, because negative news travels way faster. He's like, you want negative news. That's when I first started thinking, maybe you want to optimize for a little bit of hate. So then, I've done a lot of stuff. I bought business.
Have?
Well, the one that I have 4 versions. The one that's public has 73 million. But then I did a crypto one in end of 2016, telling people to buy Bitcoin. It got over 200 million views in 3 months. And then YouTube took all crypto videos down.
Oh, no.
So that's actually, and then I did a video. Yeah, then I bought companies. I bought a whole bunch of companies during COVID and stuff. And
you bought dying businesses and
different ones. I bought bodybuilding.com. I bought all this last year. I put together kind of a holding company. So companies last year did like 900 million in revenue. Wow. So I've tried small businesses, medium, big. Yeah. I've had 10 employees. Last year I had 8,000 employees, you know, in all the companies that I was CEO over. And so
8,000 employees.
Yeah. But so I've tried small, super large, medium.
How do you manage 8,000 employees?
You got to have a lot of managers.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of managers.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, I think sometimes people, when they're starting out, they often, for me personally, I definitely ran into a huge issue when it came to hiring. Because, like, as a hustler kid like you, I knew how to make money. I knew how to do that very well.
Yeah.
But I never had any idea on, like, how to hire, how to find the right people, and, like, how many people to hire.
You got to become a master of psychology.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize making money is mostly psychology. Because think about it. You're one person. There's 8 billion people in the world. They all got money. And the most precious thing that people have is money. Yeah. And so for you to convince them to send you their money, you have, like, Elon Musk is one of the best psychologists. Steve Jobs, one of the best psychologists. He knew, like, these iPhones are like status symbols. Like iPhone, there was a BlackBerry phones, Androids, but people want an iPhone. Why? Status symbol. Facts. So, like, is Steve Jobs a tech guy or is he a psychologist? Mark Zuckerberg built Facebook, Instagram. He went to school for psychology.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
People don't realize, like, Elon Musk bought Twitter because he's a master of psychology. Like, to go viral now, yeah, you better be good at reading people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, really quick, I want to ask you kind of a deep question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, but I actually listen to you a lot on Clubhouse.
Okay.
You remember Clubhouse?
Oh, yeah.
So
I wish it was still around. They messed it up. I know exactly what they did wrong. I built a competitor now that I'm launching called Speakeasy. But Clubhouse almost had it right.
How did it go wrong?
Two things. One, well, the biggest thing, there used to be big rooms.
Yeah.
And they decided for some crazy reason, they wanted only like 30 people rooms because they wanted more people to lead rooms. Well, most people are boring to listen to.
Yeah.
So instead of letting one person have like 1 million people in a room, they changed the algorithm.
Oh, no.
They changed the algorithm. I saw this. I told my friend, I started building a competitor. I said, this thing will crash because that's like saying people want, I mean, have you ever looked at
most followers than leaders?
Most people are boring.
Yeah.
I would go into Clubhouse rooms. People just like 10 people sitting there talking to each other about nothing. I was going, if people wanted to do that, they'll just do it on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Or like Snap, like a Snap group. So
or like Skype,
Facebook group. Yeah. So I don't know what, man. They had the thing going. It's like the fastest growing new social platform. Also, no video.
No video, yeah.
So I built Speakeasy. I'll launch it here shortly. And it has like video. It's like Clubhouse with video, but also 1 million people to a room.
Wow.
Because like Clubhouse brought Elon Musk on, but they had a limit of like, I forget, thousands. Dude, they would have had 2 million people download the app. Crazy. But what they did right, the invite only. That's status symbol. That was psychology. So they did good psychology at the beginning. Steve Jobs, genius psychology. Then they forgot. They forgot. They had like a master's in psychology, not a PhD. You need a PhD now.
They were playing checkers.
They were playing checkers. So they were winning checkers, but I mean, that thing went to like 2 billion valuation.
Crazy.
A year or two.
And now it's like fully bankrupt or what? Do you know?
I don't think they're bankrupt, but who the hell uses Clubhouse now?
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been on Clubhouse?
No, bro, I don't know. I think I deleted it.
I just looked on my app and I was like, I got to re-download the app.
Yeah.
Last time I went on, it was like
but I think now with Twitter Spaces, I think that it's either like if you build a competitor, because Twitter Spaces is pretty much the same thing without video, so it must have a video.
Yeah, you gotta have video, but mine is way better.
But do you think maybe Twitter Spaces was the reason of the decline, or did Twitter Spaces?
No. The world's big enough. A well-built Clubhouse. See, the thing people don't realize is you don't have to be that afraid of your competitors. The world is so fragmented. If you build something good, not everybody's going to go on Twitter. There's a lot of countries that people like, I live in Sweden part-time, nobody uses Twitter.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's when the Reels came out, people thought people would stop TikTok, but they're just both flourishing.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
I remember when Snap Stories, like I was one of the, dude, I had my Snap Stories, I would get 18 million views on some of my Snap Stories. So I was like one of the first people to have 1 million Snap followers. But then when Instagram stories, my business partner said, that's going to kill Snap. We actually made a bet, $50,000. I won. Wow. He said, this is going to destroy Snapchat. And it was like a $6 billion company. Now Snap's, I think, worth 20 bill. So there's enough room for both.
Yeah, true. You're right.
People now check Insta stories. Some people like Snap. Yeah. It's just like why there's different types of cars. Yeah, just because there's Lambo, some people want a Bugatti, some people want a Ferrari,
they
some
all
people
get
want
to
a
the
Porsche.
same place.
Yeah, exactly.
True. No, that's 100% makes sense. But yeah, so what I was saying was when I entered your room on Clubhouse, I said, you know what, it's Tai Lopez. Like, I haven't heard of this guy in ages. And I started listening in, and you started talking about something called the Hedonic Treadmill.
Yes.
And you told everyone, you're like, stop what you're doing right now, go on Google and look it up. Because if you're on this treadmill, you will never be fulfilled or happy in your life ever again.
Yep.
So I decided to look it up, and I really got into hedonism from that point onwards. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about that? And later on, you can even talk about, does money buy happiness or not? Because you have like millions and millions of dollars, so you can really answer that question.
So, okay. I got a different answer than anybody else in the world on this question. It depends on your genetics.
Genetics?
Yes.
So DNA.
Love of money is very genetic. In evolution, there's something called ESS, evolutionary stable systems. That means nature does not make everybody the same. It wants to stabilize a society. So you have some extroverts, some introverts. You have, I think, probably 20. I built a quiz called 12types.com, and I've tested 800,000 people. About 25% of people are hyper motivated by things, but a ton of people aren't.
Yeah.
Some people are motivated by status. So, like, let me ask you a question. Would you rather be Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
First, second, third richest person in the world?
Yeah.
Or Leonardo DiCaprio?
It's a good question.
Leonardo DiCaprio is worth like 300 million, but he's good looking. He has women. He has
He's
fame.
not even that good looking, by the way.
But women think
he has everything. He has everything.
Doesn't matter what we think.
Honestly, yeah, you're right. Honestly, I think for me personally, I'd pick Jeff Bezos. But I 100% understand how a lot of people wouldn't care about that much about the money. Like, they want the money just to have that Leonardo DiCaprio life. So if he has it already, then that's perfect for them. But yeah, for me, Jeff Bezos.
DiCaprio's worth 300 million.
Yeah. Still not a joke, yeah.
He's still...
Yeah. I know what you mean. But
so
also,
you
I don't want to
Bezos?
Yeah, I don't have that much of a thing for like 19-year-old. I'm joking.
You don't want to do the dating, the DiCaprio life?
No, I don't know if I'd want to do like the 30 girls. And I feel like Jeff Bezos is lean, you know, and also I just feel like Jeff Bezos he has the body, he's like, he's more well-rounded as an individual. Right. Where Leonardo DiCaprio, he has like a bunch of women, but I don't even know. Like, I think the women stuff, I think having a bunch of women, that doesn't make you happy at all. I think in fact makes you sad.
Yeah. Like, well, that's why I say genetics.
Yeah.
Some men are happy from that.
But do you think the ones that feel happy, or they think they feel happy, but it's just short-term dopamine, and that later results in them becoming actually more sad? Like, do you think Leonardo DiCaprio is really happy?
You know who Hugh Hefner is? Playboy magazine.
Playboy Mansion guy.
So I'm friends with his son.
Okay.
So Playboy. I think Hugh Hefner was pretty happy. Arnold Schwarzenegger was pretty happy. I think it's hard to generalize.
It's a tough question.
I think I agree that a lot of men would be unhappy, but some men, I think you got to know yourself. The first piece of self-help advice in human history was the Oracle of Delphi in Greece.
Okay.
At least that we have found on a wall. Yeah. And it says, know thyself.
Know thyself.
So I think there are men that think women will make them happy, being like DiCaprio, and they get it and they're miserable. And I think I know a guy, the guy who started Victoria's Secret. Yeah. He did it, sold it for $1 million, millions of dollars. Next month, jumped off a bridge, killed himself.
Why do you think so many people do that?
Because that's a guy that didn't know his inner motivations, probably. So I think if you know yourself, I've seen it over and over, man. In fact, some of my students, it's crazy how like 60% of people you see making money now are my students. Yeah, so I talk to them. I got a student in Brazil.
Is Iman your student, by the way?
Yeah, he says in a podcast. So I just saw a podcast somebody sent me. Somebody asked Iman, how'd you get started? It's like Tai said SMMA. Wow. He got started in the same SMMA. Wow. I don't take credit, by the way, for people. No. I'm not saying nobody would have been successful without me. But the amount of people who went through my stuff, I mean, I've had everybody contact me. I've had everybody fly out to me, Mr. Beast, all these people.
Wow.
But what I would say is, I have one of my most successful students. I got my second student now that's about to become a billionaire.
Wow. Guys, he is the guy.
2017, 2018, I got a guy in the U.S. He was making $7,000 a month. Now he's about a billionaire. I've got a couple of those.
Yeah. No, I've seen it for sure.
Some of them are secretive.
You are him when it comes to like self-help, especially personal brand. Like I don't think anyone has mastered personal brand and personal marketing like how you have, or at least you did it first. Like just the fact that I think one common pattern I'm noticing is like you were like the first in a lot of different things. You were one of the first speakers on Snapchat. You were the first to do Google ads. You were the first to do YouTube ads as thoroughly as you did it. So especially in the self-help
I'm a
scene.
trend catcher.
Yeah, you are a trend catcher.
People say Andrew Tate's top G and I'm OG, the original. I'm like, okay, that might be true.
What do you think about Andrew Tate?
Smart guy. I was at a dinner. Somebody was asking me. To get to the top's hard, man. He's a good speaker, got controversial stuff he says, had a good hack the algorithm. You know, it's like everybody. Look, I respect people. I don't agree with everything people say, but
yeah. Look, I think
a lot of opinions.
But for me, what I think is you don't get viral by saying, the sky is blue and the grass is green. You have to say some outlandish shit sometime, and he understands, like what you said earlier about how the
triggering the brain.
Yeah, triggering the brain.
There's 39 triggers.
He's such a smart
He's
guy.
good at hitting pa, 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 pa. And if you hit about 5 triggers on people's brains,
you're the master.
Stuff goes viral,
Yeah, you control them.
So he's, like I said, I always tell people, because a lot of people compare. It's like, who's the best football player? Is it like Messi, Ronaldo? All the people at the top, I call them titans. Like you see a Marvel movie, you see like a superhero, you see like Superman, Spider-Man, da-da-da. To me, never try to compare which of those is better. They're all on the top. Learn something from every one of them.
True.
So you look at all the people at the top, to me,
that makes sense.
I just focus. Most people want me to say, what do I disagree with them? But I'm more like, what can I learn from learn from everybody. Abraham Lincoln, the president of the United States, said, I learn from everybody, even sometimes what not to do. So I watch people, and I'm not a hater. I'm like people. It's like Donald Trump. People ask me what I think about Donald Trump. I'm like, it's hard to become the president of the United States.
Yeah.
He's a sharp guy. Does that mean I agree with every policy? No, but I've never found anybody 100%. I don't even 100% agree with my own opinions.
True. I think that's what makes life interesting.
Exactly. I look back at my beliefs 1 year ago. I'm like, fuck, I don't believe in that anymore.
True. Yeah.
So I think that it's one of those scenarios where you have to be a learning machine. That's the one thing I will tell you. If you want to know who's going to win, it's going to be Andrew Tate. It's going to be this, da, 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 da. Whoever's more of a learning machine will win, because the world's changing so fast with AI. AI by 2026 will be 800 times more powerful than it is right now. And it's already powerful. 10 years, if you look at an exponential curve, it could be 10,000 to 100,000 times faster. So now, I used to tell people, you better be learning, reading, and people were like, I don't know if it's important. I'm like, just wait, because now you're going to have computers competing with you for making money.
Yeah.
One of my students, you know what he does? He basically has 40 people that work. He has a 200-person company. 40 of them are just searching for what other people are doing. They basically use bots to look at high converting funnels across the whole internet, and then they just copy them.
Wow. Yeah.
So like one dude's going to figure out how to compete with 500 businesses.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those other businesses, you better realize there's competition coming. So be a learning machine. Go to bed a little bit smarter than you were. That's a big thing, man.
Every night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to go back to
that's probably the one thing me and Andrew Tate don't agree on. He says don't read books. I do not agree.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this.
I don't agree with that. Like, I'll respect other people, but I think look, Elon Musk's sister just wrote an article about growing up with her brother, Elon.
Yeah.
She said he read 2 books a day.
2 books a day?
2 books a day.
A day?
A day.
Jesus.
I met Elon. I just posted a video on my Instagram. I used to go to a lot of stuff with Elon. We go to the same events in Beverly Hills, Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
It's this video right now on my Instagram. I said, Elon, because I've met him multiple times, and he told me one time, I said, how did you learn how to do SpaceX?
Yeah.
You were doing PayPal. He goes, I bought a whole bunch of books and taught myself.
Wow.
And I got people said, no, Elon never told you that. My video editor found the video of me walking with Elon. It ain't an AI video. And I said to him, you told me you learned how to build SpaceX by reading books. And he goes, that's right. I did tell you that. So I'm going, are you smarter than Elon?
No.
Like Elon needs books. Yeah. So I agree. One thing I do agree with Andrew Tate, that I know some people, they just read and never put it into action.
Self-help junkies.
Yeah, that's also, you got to avoid extremes in life.
Yeah. Find the middle.
You know what I mean? It's like, so some people don't read at all. Some people just read and never do. Find the middle ground.
Yeah.
I
think for Andrew, because he was like more of like a mixed martial arts champion, you know, he was doing more of the physical side of life. So it probably was never like, I mean, if you're doing like boxing fights, you don't need to read that much, I guess, you know?
But Mike Tyson, maybe the best fighter.
I think he read after he retired, no?
No.
Why
read, watch videos, and read. He has a great book, Mike Tyson's book.
Yeah.
Dude, he said he used to sit there and read all the great history of the greatest fighters when he was 15, 16, 17.
I'm a big fan of reading personally. So let's talk about that then, because you obviously like reading. In your earlier books, you used to show how your set of books in your library was more important than your Lamborghini.
Yes.
So,
and I believe that. I'm serious about it. People thought I was bullshitting. I'm like, I actually believe that.
Talk about some of the best books you've read for someone who's not into reading books as much.
Yeah.
What are some books they should read, and maybe give us some tips and pointers that you learned in each one.
So like, I would say a book everybody should read is called The One Thing by Gary Keller.
The One Thing.
And it's the power of focus. Like now people are doom scrolling on Instagram. Nobody can focus.
True.
So like you can actually have a competitive edge if your brain can focus. So that is a book. I've been telling people to read that since 2013. That's still top. I think another book that's underrated. I think you should read books about people that had a lot of courage in history, because fear is the most powerful drug on earth.
Yeah.
Like fear destroys hopes and dreams. I always say procrastination is the killer of hopes and dreams, but you know what's behind procrastination? Fear.
Fear, yeah.
So there's a good book called Kon-Tiki, Kontiki.
Okay.
It's about a Norwegian explorer who wanted to prove something. So he built a boat out of wood and went across the entire Pacific Ocean on a little boat.
Yeah.
I like to read stories of people who have crazy levels of courage. Read about Alexander the Great. Read about Napoleon.
Yeah.
So I think those are important books. And I'd say a third book that.
Wait, you're talking about the guy. Let's break down some of the like interesting lessons. So from The One Thing, because I want to actually ask you about this. So nowadays everyone has shiny object syndrome, you know?
Yes.
They jump from side hustle to side hustle. They try a self-made, and they try a course, then they try to do drop shipping. They try to do every side hustle without actually sticking to one, you know? So, and there's unlimited ways of making money, unlimited side hustles, and new ways keep coming out every day.
Yes.
Like what I do, influencer marketing, people try that and they try something else, you know? What does the book teach you as like the best way to actually tackle this problem?
So, you know what, that book, look, you got to have a balance in life. You can't completely focus on one thing because you need to eat food, brush your teeth, go to sleep, spend time with family. So in life, you are juggling things. But what it says that's so genius is that every day when you wake up, think of one thing you do that if, you ever play dominoes, the game dominoes?
Yeah.
If you push on this one thing, it knocks like 10 dominoes down. So like, for example, for me, one of those things is for like business, when you get a bigger company, make one phone call every day to a different one of your leaders of your company. Just talk to them. I go on a long walk, try to get 10 to 15,000 steps in. That one phone call sets in motion. Then they call somebody else. They check up there. Next thing you know, you make $1 million. So, but everybody has to find their one thing. If you're trying
to... It's like the 80-20 rule, kind of.
Yeah, Pareto principle. But like, think about it. I have a friend. I have a private client program. People pay me like $100,000 to mentor them. Wow. These are usually people that are making like 20 to 50 million net. Okay. Yeah. One of my students. And I told him, he's kind of a skinny dude. And he's tried 50 different gym exercises. And I looked at him. I said, bro, you have chicken legs. I said, do this. 10 sets of 12 reps.
Yeah.
10 sets of 15. Do 150 reps on a leg press machine. Just one thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, by doing that, your testosterone goes up.
True.
And when you do your legs, a lot of times your upper body, because of the testosterone, like the whole thing gets bigger.
Yeah.
So I forgot I told him that. 2 months went by. He called. I was on the phone with him the other day. He's like, dude, I only changed one thing in the gym. I like destroyed my legs twice a day.
Yeah.
And he's like, now women are like, what's different about you? Like, he changed his dating life. He said, I sleep better. He's like, I gain, his appetite's better. So that's an example of focusing on one leverage point
That can make a huge difference.
that has multiple positive consequences.
So each person has to find that one.
That one thing. Some people don't have little legs.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I was actually in the gym here with another one of my students who lives in Dubai, and like we were doing he's strong everywhere, but we did shrugs where you do your traps.
Yeah, traps. Yeah.
He's like, I never did that. And I was like, I could tell.
That's very
You got
important,
like a big body and he's got a little giraffe neck.
Yeah.
So like that's the body. But think about the same way. I'll tell you one for health. The biggest one is try to get 150 minutes of deep sleep every night. Don't count. You got to get a ring like this that tracks your sleep. This is Aura Ring, or you can get a Whoop or Apple. The biggest thing for most people, they're trying to get more energy. They're trying to do cardio. I'm like, track your sleep.
Yeah.
Because if you get 150 minutes a night.
Like REM sleep.
No. REM is less important in my experience than deep sleep. So if you get a lot of deep sleep, you usually get a lot of REM.
Okay.
But if you just focus on REM, you won't always get deep sleep.
Okay.
So like for people who don't have energy, I'm like, just one thing you have to optimize for. 150 minutes of deep sleep.
True.
But that forces you to do other things. You don't get 150 minutes if you eat too close to when you sleep.
True.
If you don't walk enough. If
you
don't
scroll too much.
Yeah, scroll. You should wear blue blocker glasses too, 2 hours before you sleep. But I'm saying by just optimizing for that one variable, you fix like 30 other things in your health.
In your life, I guess everyone's life, they know what they need to do to improve. Everyone knows what they need to do. And then you just have to find that one thing which helps in the most areas.
I'll give you an example. Procrastination.
Yeah.
Discipline. A lot of people are like, Tai, I know what I do, but I don't have willpower.
All right. The next book you were talking about.
Yeah.
You said that he went on this boat.
Yes, Kontiki. Yes.
So what is like the lesson here?
So the lesson is do what you know you should do without fear.
Oh yeah, about fear.
Like this dude I don't know if have you ever been out in the ocean on a boat?
Yeah.
I took a freighter once from Los Angeles on a boat, 14 days in the middle of the ocean. The ocean, if you think you're a tough dude, I'm going to drop you off in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody to help you. And this guy took a raft that he made out of wood.
Oh my God.
He wanted to know how ancient civilizations
would get around.
Could they get across the Pacific? So he said, I'll just do it myself.
Wow.
So he went to South America. I think he went to Peru. He cut down balsa wood trees. They're like bamboo.
Yeah.
He lashed them together with vines.
Yeah.
And he sat on that thing and he went all the way across the Pacific.
Wow.
That dude, most men that I meet, they're afraid of everything. Yeah. I'm like, why don't you start your own business? They're like, what if it doesn't succeed? I'm like, that's not a real fear.
Yeah.
You can start a Shopify store for a $7 trial.
That's why they don't.
Or a free trial.
That's why they don't.
Yeah, they're like, I was talking to a guy. I actually, right before when you came, I was doing this dinner with, I call it my 150 million group. It's people who have a business or net worth more than 150 million. You saw that. It's like, so, but one of the guys there, I
didn't get invited. I did not reach 150 million yet.
You'll be there soon.
Next time I see you,
it was too small for you. You need to be the $500 million room.
No, I still have a long way to go.
But that one of the guys there who he's not yet qualified, but I let him come. He was talking about a podcast and he's like, Tai, like, I know I should do a podcast, but like, do I do a video or just audio? And what if I don't know what to say? And I was thinking, you need to go watch Kontiki. This dude floated across the Pacific Ocean in a boat.
No second thoughts.
You're afraid to do a Zoom call. Like society, men have gotten so weak now that I'm like, why don't you try to build a social media marketing agency?
Yeah.
Well, how do I get clients? I don't know. Go figure it out. I'll show you a few things, but you're going to have a little courage.
Yeah, watch a few videos on YouTube. There's a video on everything.
Yeah, a man without courage is not a man.
Yeah.
You're not even you're a different species.
Castrated.
Yeah, you're like a subspecies.
So, it's interesting. I recently read this book, or I'm actually listening to Audible. It's called Untethered Soul. And he talks about how everything is...
What's it called?
Untethered Soul.
Oh, Untethered Soul. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Amazing.
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it. Is it good? Should I read it?
I love it. It's the best book I've read by far.
Okay.
So far. So he talks about how all your sins come from fear.
Yes.
And actually, it might be this book or it might be a different book. I might be confusing it because I sometimes I read multiple books at the same time.
That's a good problem to have.
So he talks about it could be Napoleon Hill, the devil one. You've read that one, the devil. Anyways, they talk about how all sins come from fear.
Yes.
So let's say if you're jealous, you're afraid that someone becomes better than you.
Yes.
If you're let's say if you have anger, you're afraid. Let's say your mom does something that makes you angry. It's because you're afraid that you're losing your freedom.
Yes.
So any sin you do is linked to some sort of fear.
Yes.
Some sort of fear that you haven't contained.
Yeah.
So literally, for example, if you eat a lot, so you know how gluttony.
Yeah.
If you eat a lot, it's because you fear that you won't have food later.
Yes, exactly. Unconscious mind fears that.
So it was so interesting to find out that basically any bad thing you do in your life is basically linked to fear.
Yes.
So I guess if
maybe not everything, but I'd say 80%.
Yeah, 80%. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what I would say is for most people, you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And the enemy, there's an old saying. It said, "We have met the enemy, and the enemy is me." And what is that? It's the fear. And you know what it is? It's a primitive instinct. We used to live in very small tribes, 150 people. If you go back to your great 10,000 generations back. And so in a little group, there was no doctors.
Yeah.
So if you fell and broke your leg, you died.
Yeah.
There was no antibiotics, So fear, people
important.
who had more fear survived.
Yeah.
Now we live in a world where
you don't need to
if you launch a business and it fails, I promise you ain't going to starve to death. If you live in 90% of the world, nobody starves to death anymore.
Yeah.
So worst case, if you go bankrupt, the average millionaire has been bankrupt twice.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. In America, there's a good book called that's a good book. I was going to say the third book everybody should read, The Millionaire Next Door. It's a survey in the United States of millionaires over a long period of time. One of the things they have in common, on average, most of them had one or two business failures.
That's how you learn.
But then I always tell people you should only fear one thing. That's living a bad life. Growing old and realize you got good at the wrong thing. That's a big fear. So a lot of people are like, I'm going to take the simple route because they don't understand opportunity cost. You could have had it all.
Yeah.
But you went with fear and you got nothing.
It held them back.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move aside a little bit from the books, but it's interesting. Maybe we circle back in a bit. Question then, earlier you were talking about, does money buy happiness? You said it depends on your DNA.
Yes.
My question to you would be, how would someone know that? Does it take them to earn a bunch of money to realize that money doesn't make them happy? Does it take them to have a bunch of women sleeping around to realize that doesn't make them happy? How do they know? You said the important thing is to know yourself, know thyself. How do you know thyself?
Well, one is look at your ancestors. People don't study their ancestors enough. Like America, people disrespect their ancestors. I think you should look at your father and mother. You got 50% of their genes. Look at you got 4 grandparents. They're 25% each. So I think part of the clues come from your ancestors. Part of the clues just come from your past behavior. Like I have a friend, my friend, when we were like 16 years old, I remember we were walking to a park. We were like in high school. It was all these beautiful women. And I was like, oh man, look at all this. And he's like, Tai, I just want to have one girl. I want to fall in love. Like his genes he wasn't a player.
Yeah.
And he did. He married a virgin. His first girlfriend he married. They got married.
Yeah.
So I think some of it is common sense. Don't listen to society. Look at your behavior. But I think one day with AI, they're going to be able to swab your mouth.
And tell you.
Oh yeah, be like, this dude needs to. I meet some. So I built a quiz. People can try it. It's a free quiz. 12types.com, like 12 personalities.
Yeah.
12types.com. There's a link. It says 4 motivations. So the 4 motivations of humans, I call it the 4 M's. Material things, that's number 1. Mating, romance, that's number 2. Movement, freedom, that's number 3. And mastery status. I find believe it or not, that most entrepreneur dudes don't love things as much as they love status.
Yeah.
A lot of guys want to be like, one day I go to a club, I'm with my friends, and it's like long line. And I walk to the front and like the door opens. That status is like, men are driven by status more than things.
They think they want the things, but they just want the status that the things give them.
That's right.
When they pull up in the Lamborghini, how people look at them.
That's right. I saw a dude, I was walking here at the Palms like yesterday, and there was a dude, I don't know what he was doing with his girlfriend. She had her little selfie. He must have rented a Lamborghini. He drove back and forth like 40 times and she was doing selfies.
Yeah.
But you got to experiment. Like,
if they actually like the car, they'd just be enjoying the car. They wouldn't be taking that many videos.
Yes. My quiz, though, I asked people, for example, if growing up, let me ask you a question. Did you collect things growing up?
Yes.
Toys,
yeah.
Baseball cards, whatever.
Yeah. I did.
You might be higher on things.
Yeah, perhaps.
Like me, I didn't collect stuff.
Okay, so it doesn't matter to you.
My things on a 1 to 100 on the 12 types motivation quiz, I score like 45.
But I don't like that about myself. I don't want to care that much.
Can't
about
change
things.
it. Don't try it. Just don't let it be extreme.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, if you have a natural
incline.
But I bet you influencer marketing, you're probably high on status. You probably like mastery status.
Maybe. Yeah.
So if I had a choice, here's a choice. I wire you $1 billion today.
Okay.
But you have to be completely anonymous. For the rest of your life, only your close family and friends know you. If you go to a conference, like, you have to stand in line. Like, people don't know who you are. But
can I not buy like a bunch of very expensive cars?
No, everything has to be covert.
Okay.
You can buy stuff, but you got to buy an anonymous trust. You can buy land, like Jeff Bezos been buying like 1 million acres in like anonymous trust. Yeah. So everything's anonymous. There's a lot of I know some billionaires like that. Like, my friend made $4 billion. He's on the Forbes list. He didn't like to be on the Forbes list, but it was public sale. Nothing. He could walk in here, you wouldn't know who he is. He doesn't have security. He has a jet. He has one of the big but he goes on it alone.
Yeah.
So you have that choice. You could be that. I wire you $1 billion, but only your mom, dad, and close 5 friends can know you. Or I wire you for the rest of your life. January 1st, you get $250,000 check. Wire. Okay, that's it.
Every
January.
Every January.
250 grand a year. But you're the man. Anywhere you go in the world, crowds are there to see.
This is number 2 for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely sad though. I never had to think about this question, but now I always thought that, now that I have to
it's not bad.
Yeah, but it's not.
Just don't let it control you.
Yeah.
So
because I always thought my goal was to be a billionaire, but now that when you ask me this question, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes, but you got the devil inside you. Yeah. Control the devil. You can't completely. No man can remove the devil completely. Control it. Yeah. So you just need to not go to extreme. What about freedom? So the third.
That's the most.
So let me ask you a question. You got 2 choices. One, so you said 250 grand, but you're the man. Everybody knows you. So that's option number 1.
Sorry to interrupt. Just a question. You know what's interesting? I think a lot of people might pick the status thing, but once they get it, they will regret it.
Yes.
I know so many celebrities that are like, shit. Like,
that's like me. Once I got like everything you see Andrew Tate, I already did that. Like, be the most Googled person in the world. I've been the most Googled person. I started posting again to social media. One of my YouTube guys like, Tai, your searches are up 973% this month on YouTube. I'm like, I don't even want that. Again. No, so I do agree. Some people think they want it, and then when they get it, they don't. Yeah. But some people, I got a friend, he loves it, man. The more famous he becomes, his happiness goes straight line. If he gets 10 compliments today, and then tomorrow he gets 20, he's twice as happy. Wow. It's called marginal utility. His marginal utilities never ends. Yeah. I think if the whole world jumped up and down and cheered him.
No diminishing returns?
No diminishing returns. It's crazy.
Wow.
Some celebrities are like that. And there's some people that love to be famous. And then I
like the spotlight, yeah.
Yeah. Now, okay, let me throw another one at you.
Okay.
So we know material things is lower for you than mastery status. Yeah. Let's go to number 3. We'll compare number 3 versus we compared 1 and 4. Let's do 3 and 4. So you're the man. You get 250 grand, okay, a year, but you're one of the most popular people on earth. But you can't travel more than 1 kilometer from your house for 10 years. And you have to have a schedule. You wake up at 8, you got to work 8 to 5, go home, you get 2 weeks vacation, schedule. Yep. Or you make same 250 grand a year. You're not popular. You're kind of normal, but you do whatever you want on your own time, on your own schedule. When you want to travel to Australia, you go to Australia. When you're going to travel, like you have full freedom. Which of those?
I'd say the freedom. Honestly, I think the freedom is...
You sure?
Yeah.
But you're just a regular person. Nobody knows you.
No, but I can become famous. Like,
no, you can't.
I can never become
For 10 years, ain't nobody going to know you.
Oh, no.
We're taking it to extreme to try to isolate the mind.
Yeah, makes sense. It's interesting that you think this way, you know. But the answer to the question, it's very tough to decide.
Think of that status. Everybody wants. You're the man.
Yeah, but the status doesn't help me if I can't like. The one thing I feel like that I don't know which would feel the best because I've not had any of the. You know? I mean, I've not had the most status ever. So, but
you have more status than you had 5 years ago.
True, but I know the one thing which I hate the most in my life is when I feel like I'm in a box. So like when I feel like I'm too.
But is travel important to you?
Not necessarily travel, but just when I feel like I'm a schedule, like it's too.
So you don't like schedule?
You know? Yeah. So I think that's the thing that would irritate me the most in life.
So maybe these are tied. Sometimes they're both equal.
Yeah.
So let me ask you the last one. Mating romance.
Oh no.
Okay.
I also think that's the most important.
So you can have status, freedom, not a lot of money, 250 grand. But for 10 years, you can't have kids, you can't get married, you can't have a girlfriend, you're celibate. Or you make 250 grand, but you don't have that much freedom, and you're not very well known, but you have family, kids, wife, honestly, good relationship, really like the woman, she really loves you, you got a son coming, daughter coming, like you're happy. And the other one, you have to be nothing for 10 years.
10 years.
No woman for 10 years.
Honestly, the thing is I'm 21, so I think I could do 10 years.
So 20 years, let's say.
Oh, man. No, I can't do that. Because by the time I'm 40, if I don't have like kids and stuff, then what's the point of life, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess I would have to pick the
mating's high.
Yeah. I don't know. When you take it to extremes, like I'll just have to pick the one which is like, I'll have to forego the money.
But there's some people... One of my business partners, the thing I like about him, he has no guilt and he's the most honest guy. First day I met him, I'm like, what motivates you? He's like, money. I want to be the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Now, but it's interesting. I don't know why. This is before. Now I've tested 800,000 people with these quizzes. So this is like 2014. I didn't realize he's actually status, not things.
The money just gave him the status.
Yeah. Because I thought, oh, this guy loves money so much. But then if you look at him, he wears the same outfit. He has like 10 of the same shirts and pants. He's like Mark Zuckerberg. So he doesn't collect watches. He doesn't much care about cars, houses.
I think now that you mentioned that, what's interesting, I think I've just realized, is I think if you have the money, you actually get everything else. Because if you have money, you can find a really good partner. You can take as much time. I don't
know. The one that gets hard, you can get harder to find women.
True, but...
Because you get gold diggers.
True,
and they're sneaky.
But you have like unlimited amount of... Like you can like put all your businesses, everything on hold because you already have money to just like meet a bunch of people, you know?
Yeah, but if it's publicly known you have money, you never quite know if the woman... I saw this American basketball player. Yeah. He posted to his Instagram. He was out on a date with a girl. And somehow he's like, let me use your phone for something. And he pulled up Google. He was going to show her something. In the search results was net worth for his name.
She's already checking.
So how is that guy? He's like 25.
Yeah.
Good looking guy, so maybe women like him, but he's worth 50 million. Mm-hmm. How does he know that? So I don't know. I think money can buy you everything.
Except love.
Love is a tough one. And it can't buy you love of your friends.
Well, I think I'm going to have to face that problem anyway, though, because like the way I look at it, I'm anyways going to be very successful. So I always have that issue.
You mean a man? Wait, what's the reason? Because
like I said, I'm always going to have this issue about not knowing if my girl likes me for my money. Even if I had 50 million, if I had 40 million, and I feel like that's inevitable. Like I will end up with a lot of money.
But if you have no money and she likes you, then you know she likes you for you.
Yeah, but the way I also look at it is always an exchange of some type of value, right?
Yeah.
So it's always like the woman like,
can be genes.
It's a trade-off, right? It's all transactional.
But it could be IQ. For example,
She's attracted to my IQ, and
Albert Einstein had no money.
yeah, probably had a
Pablo Picasso is a good example. He had like 12 women in his life that were in love with him. Like different. He was married multiple times. I think 2 women committed suicide when he
wow
broke up with them. But he wasn't that rich.
It's charismatic.
Yeah. Pablo, he's one of the great artists, man. I saw a YouTube video. Somebody uploaded a YouTube video. Before Pablo Picasso died, they caught him on camera shooting like drawing something in 3. Dude, he was a real artist.
So what I'm saying about the woman is and this is interesting. We can talk about this for hours, but
I think this is yours because this one
No,
has
I'll
you
tell
the
you why.
most thinking of anything I've said.
Facts, but I think
You're a mating motivated guy.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why.
No?
I feel like so.
By the way,
no
whatever
matter what
people
you have-
deny the most,
Maybe.
that's usually the
True,
truth.
It could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think the woman will always like you for something, and no matter, even if it can either be money or for Picasso, it was, for example, status, or for another guy, maybe it's his
Skill.
looks or his skill or his body.
sure.
So she's always gonna use you for something.
Yeah, but the same with a man with a woman.
At least if it's my money rather than looks, at least I worked hard for it. So I feel like I'm
Yeah.
deserving of it.
Yes.
Well, if I was just born with good looks and this girl liked me for my looks, I feel like she could, like, I have not done anything to deserve this love.
Yeah.
But at least if she's in love with the money, at least I've worked hard for it.
Yeah.
I'm deserving of it. So I think about the question about does the woman like you for the money? You can ask it about no matter what type of man asking.
Right.
Any type of man can think about this question. The woman likes me for X that they have more than anyone else she knows. You know, so I think that you always never know.
But
why a woman
genetically,
likes you.
I think men are more excited when they think a woman likes them for the complete thing. I'm telling you, I know. I'll give you an example. I won't say his name, but he's a guy. He used to be one of my next door neighbors in Beverly Hills. He is round, dude. He's like fat. He's always trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
And he struggles with women because he wants them to like them from his looks.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah,
So a man, I'm telling you, a man who
because
thinks,
that's real infatuation, where she's like,
yes,
passionately, yeah.
I tell
She
you,
wants
women.
you.
Well, I tell men, if a woman's eyes don't dilate when she sees you,
It's not gonna work out.
and I think it built into the subconscious genetics of men is when a woman is completely no pupil dilation,
Yeah.
and she's with you for money. I think you're always less sad. That's why men should
So I
get
think
in
that-
the maximum shape of their life, because you get to be the best physical attraction that you can genetically, because at least you have a chance.
Yeah.
That a woman's, I think of a man feels the woman zero physically attracted.
It won't work out.
Yeah, it's tough.
I agree. So I think by somebody doing the test, and also I find it very interesting that you have this free quiz and you like this shows how much, like, if you wanted to know why Tai Lopez is so smart when it comes to psychology, it's because he does a random quiz for free and he spends his time and invests in having a quiz with 800,000
Oh,
participants.
I love
you know?
it, man.
So
I've got quizzes
that's-
testing things
That's for you
only.
guys to know. Yeah.
Hold your hand up. Let me see something. Are you right or left-handed?
Right
Put
hand.
your hands together. Like, yeah, see, you have a lot of testosterone.
Yeah. I'm a gym freak.
Well, no,
Well,
but this
how do you
is so. This is when you're.
I just said
born.
yeah before I.
Hold it up. So this is when you in the womb of your mother.
Yeah.
This is testosterone. That's estrogen. So you're a more masculine guy. So what? The reason I show you
Wait, how do you know? For those watching.
this is called. There's 70 scientific studies. I posted
this
a
is
video
taller
with
than this?
yes.
Okay. So if your
Yes.
ring finger is higher than your index finger, you have higher
Yes.
testosterone than estrogen.
It's not current testosterone
It's
in your
from the
blood.
womb.
It's called in utero.
Interesting.
So
Is
by
this
the way,
100% real?
oh hell yeah, there's 70 scientific studies. There's about 5 that say it's not true and like 65 that say it is true.
You're so fascinating, by the way. You know so much about so many different things.
I was gonna say you're more of a risk taker.
Yeah. Why? Because testosterone.
Testosterone, one of the number one temperamental symptoms you could say of high testosterone is risk and aggression. So it's probably not as hard for you compared to some people
Yeah.
to start a podcast.
I'm very reckless. I'm
yeah,
reckless.
yeah.
I don't.
But you got to be careful. You can also don't be too extreme.
Don't fly too close to the sun.
Nah, don't go where angels fear to tread.
Yeah, Icarus. All right. Okay.
Yeah, you're a mating guy. I think you're mating, and then I think I'm gonna give you the quiz after
Okay.
to see if I'm right. I think mating You're probably.
I am a huge family man.
Yeah, you might be a 70 out of 100 on mating. Things you're probably you collect watches.
Yeah, a little bit. I have an RM, I have an AP.
Yeah, so you might be high. Some people are high.
Well, I think
all the motivations.
The more you, I think when you do the quiz, what you realize in the end is inevitably is that I'd rather not have one of each of these four. I'd rather just have a decent amount of all four. You know?
Yeah. Well, it just creates a different person. I know people that have 1 high and 3 low. It creates a different temperament. Their life takes different paths. That's why I said it. Some of life is destiny, or if you're religious, you could say God sets the path of people. You know, we're not humans. We like to think we're in control of everything. But if you're religious, you believe God controls the path of a human. If you're atheist, you believe in there's a fate and randomness to life, you know? Yeah. No man predicts everything.
Yeah.
And so some of this, you were built like this. So that's why I said don't resist it too much, but also don't give in to it too much.
Yeah.
I see people give in and get too much. Yeah, I have friends that are naturally high on materialism, but they feed the demon too much.
Yeah.
And they become shallow and boring to be around. I have a friend like this dude. It's actually not my friend. I have a friend. I won't say what state in America. He has the most shallow friend group. Every time I go hang out with him, I want to say to him, dude, you got the most boring friends I've ever met. It's like 8 hours of conversations about watches. Yeah. Like
they think of it as identity traits. It makes them them.
They have sometimes I go to London, every single piece of clothing somebody's walking around is a name brand.
Yeah.
It's like a Gucci hat, like a D. I'm like, bro,
you're a billboard. You're
some fashion brand, but you have like 17 fashion brands on your body. Like, give it that's giving into the devil too much.
Yeah. I think this is a huge problem. It's nice to have nice things, but when those things become your personality, and you tie it to who you are as a person, it becomes a big issue. Especially like, you see some people that are like, oh, I'm this way because I'm such a Mercedes guy.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what does your car have to do with who you are as a person, you know?
That's why I think the most powerful one thing to focus on for a man, IQ. Men who are smart get respect of other men.
Yeah. They can become successful.
Women, I know dudes that aren't that good looking. If they're smart, women want to have kids with that genes.
Yeah.
And the wealthiest people in the world, you go to the Forbes list, the top 10 people, what do they all have in common? All of them are high IQ. All of them. I've never met a dumb billionaire.
Yeah.
Not self-made. They're also shockingly smart. They're like 10 times smarter than millionaires.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell people, if you want to focus on one thing as a man to optimize, IQ. Now, you still need to work out a little bit because of your body, and you still need to make money. But if let's say I had 10 kids.
Yeah.
If I could wave a wand, number one thing, I hope they're lucky. Lucky is more important than anything. Luck is better than talent. Number 2, I want them to be smarter than average. And from those 2, and then number 3, I want them to be good looking, but in that order. I don't want them to be good looking.
But do you want them to actually be lucky? Because then you also might think that they feel like they never really deserve anything. It's just like right place.
Not too lucky, but luckier than average.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like I want my son, I don't want him too good looking, but I want him better looking than average. Daughter, better looking than average. But I want the IQ. The thing that makes us different than the other animal species, although we don't always act that way, is humans can be smart. And they can forecast the future, and they can put man on Mars, and no one else can do that. Whales are smart, dolphins are smart, but not like that. So I tell men, the thing to do, yes, get strong. My dad was a pro bodybuilder, so once in a while I'll bulk up, try to, I can bench. I think my max I can rep is like 150 kilos, 300 pounds.
Wow.
A little bit more.
Wow.
Like 325.
That's a lot, actually.
Yeah, I have to bulk up though. I got to get fatter. You want to be real strong, you got a little fat.
Yeah, for sure.
The strongest dudes in the world are chubby.
Yeah, heavyweights.
But so strong is good. But you know what? If I'm smart and I got money, I can hire bodyguards that are bigger than I'll ever get.
Yeah, true. Of course.
You remember Big Rome on my social media? I don't know if you remember my main guys. You ain't never gonna get big. He's 6'6", 205 centimeters, 150 kilos,
untouchable.
22-inch biceps. That's like, I don't even know what that is in centimeters.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if my son is smart, he can hire muscle.
Yeah, true.
But if you have muscle, you can't hire smart.
Yeah, true.
You mean
Right
my
now,
opinion
this is
on Palestine and all that? It's just like, dude, I'm telling you, politicians are the problem. Because a lot of times, everyday ordinary people, they don't want to go to war, man. They don't want to kill people. It's politicians for money. It's money. People like I said, I'm not I'd like to go see for my own eyes.
You know what? From what I see, and to be honest, I can't lie, I'm a bit biased in this.
Yeah.
I'm a huge like Palestine supporter in this. I mean, you can imagine, I am a Muslim, and I mean, I am human with feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think like in this question, it's a huge. I mean, if you look at the numbers, death count numbers, or even the amount of funding each one has, and there's a clear, it's a clear little man and like a clear like superpower, And I think most people always want to support the little guy, especially in this type of situation where you feel like, I mean, obviously, because the arguments go on for days about whose land it was and stuff. But when you see a clear country with a lot of money and a lot of funding and a lot of global support from other huge countries, it's completely like going ham on like a small civilization, And I mean, Mo, who's behind the camera, he can talk about this more, because obviously he's Palestinian. But I mean, what do you think? I think you have some Amish friends, or you grew up some.
Well, I lived with the Amish for 2.5 years.
You live with the Amish.
The Amish don't believe in war. They will not go to war. They're pacifists.
They're probably against this.
Oh yeah, they're against all war. They don't believe. Now that's the Amish religion. I'm not Amish myself, but I lived with them for 2.5 years, one of my farms. But I told you it's politics. I promise you, I'm not an expert there. And one of the problems in the world is the media. It's hard for Americans to know what's going on.
Yeah,
because like people making AI imagery. So it's like I look at the situation. I'm like on Twitter, X, which I feel like is a better, but both sides it confuses Americans, I think.
Do you think they should do a ceasefire?
Yeah. Ceasefire? I mean, most of the time there should be a ceasefire.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I'm not an expert on it, but most of the time, I'm telling you, politicians almost always are doing something that destroys people. This has been happening for 1,000 years.
The thing that's best for them, always.
Yeah. This is the problem with politicians. Who's attracted to be a politician? Usually narcissists and psychopaths.
Yeah.
So you get narcissist psychopaths leading countries. They do crazy stuff.
Yeah, because they're the ones who are best at getting people to vote for them and getting to that position. That's the irony of it.
Yeah, democracy sometimes has a problem because also leaders want to say stuff that gets them elected.
Yeah.
But my mom always says, when you want to really know what's going on, follow money.
Yeah, where the money is.
Money. And then when you fight over land is money.
True, exactly.
So it's like, you follow, is it Russia, Ukraine, same thing. What's going on there? People ask my opinion. I don't know. Russia and Ukraine. I don't know Putin. I don't know Zelensky. But I guarantee you, the common man gets stuck in between. One day, they're going to come up with genetic engineering or AI. Probably be better leaders of countries as AI. Be more logical. So
yeah, there's that quote. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing it, but it says, "The war will end. The politicians will shake hands. In the end, we don't know who won the war, but we know who paid the price."
Exactly.
Like a bunch of civilians and
then give it 5 more years, and it'll start it all over again.
Yeah.
This is a big problem in the world.
I have a question. Do you think that there's some coincidence that there's always something huge going on in the world, some catastrophe, that this is some kind of like ongoing pattern? Like I feel like since there was COVID, then there was the Ukraine, then there was the Palestine, there's always seems to be something that's going on that's taking everyone's attention and being this one huge. Do you think there's some kind of coincidence?
Now you got almost China, Taiwan, America.
Yeah. It always feels like we're on the brink of World War III.
In human history, there's been like 25 years without war. There's been war, like there was the 100 Years' War in England, the 30 Years' War. I mean, not England, in Europe.
Yeah.
Mankind has a vicious side deep within. It's like everywhere you go, it's like the story of, my grandma's in Germany. My grandma told me I'm half German. My grandma said her uncle was shot in the stomach when she was a little girl at World War I. She was born when World War I was still going. What was the point of World War I? Nothing.
True.
Nothing happened out of World War One. They bogged down. Germany tried to take France. France fought back. England, nothing. Russia, nobody except politicians steal more land. And they get more power.
And they get richer.
They get richer. Who's the richest man in the world right now? Politician.
Yeah.
And probably Putin.
Probably.
Putin's a trillionaire, man. He controls an army. But you know what's interesting? I don't know what he's doing for PR. Like, used to be, if Putin, there was a video on YouTube Shorts, TikTok Reels, there'd be like, evil dictator. I look now, dude, he's got more support. People love Putin now.
Putin. He's done well.
I think he's got the best influencer agency. Are you running Putin stuff?
No.
But he's got the money.
Yeah.
I always think, like, if I was Putin, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, yo, deploy 100 mil a year.
Yeah.
Drop it into influencer campaigns.
Yeah.
You got probably sophisticated bots, because I don't even know if those are real. It's like, make 100,000 YouTube.
Easy.
And every time there's a post to me, dude, and they shoot these really good videos where he looks very tough. You see those ones going? Yeah. That's only in like
but
the last 2
he is also
months.
tough. He's like an ex-KGB.
Yeah. Well, Russians actually like Putin.
Yeah.
Russia likes a tough leader.
Thing, I think he's very smart when he picks his battles, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't fight every battle. Like, for example...
Do you like Putin? Is he popular in Dubai?
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty...
I feel like
because
he supports Palestine more.
He supports Palestine. He has very good relationships with the UAE, especially now with BRICS.
He's kind of gone all in on BRICS.
Yeah, all in on BRICS. Plus, like, he's never had an issue with Muslims and US. So, for example, like, you know, there was a time when Trump like banned like 11 Muslim countries. Or whatever, you know. But Putin's always been like very cool with Muslims. He's always said very good things for Muslims, you know. And
so, do you think Muslims, do they in general not like Trump anymore?
No, now, you know.
Where are they?
I think now they like him again. But I don't know. It's hard to really say.
So they didn't like him during like COVID?
They didn't like him when he was president. I think after they saw Biden, I think when you see Biden, you just want anyone
But he got out of Afghanistan. Trump.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, he didn't go to war so much.
Trump, he did some, he
didn't like attack. They don't like Bush was in Iran.
Bush for sure was a madman. I hate Bush.
Yeah, nobody liked Bush. Yeah.
But let's talk about Putin. I feel like, and I mean, like, you know, humans talk about politics all the time, but we barely have any influence on it. So I feel like sometimes it's a bit of a waste of time. But Putin, I feel in general, even though he's Christian, he never fights the battle on religion, right? Yes. He has like the leader of Chechnya, Kadyrov, that handles that, and that's like most of the Muslims.
Because Chechnya is Muslim,
Yeah. So he
Dagestan is Muslim,
Yeah. So
Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib. So Khabib is Chechen, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's very smart with the battles that he picks, and in terms of like he won't fight every single different front, you know? He doesn't try to control everything.
Oh, Putin's smart. There's no way you get on the top, be a leader of a big country for 30 years.
And also, he doesn't talk a lot. Nope.
Yeah.
How many videos have you seen of Putin talking?
No.
And people understanding what he's saying?
No, he's very, he's good at...
I think that's a huge thing.
He has good PR.
Yeah, I think when you hear, or you see a president just tweeting all the time, or like, why do a lot of people hate Biden? Because of all the mistakes he's made in his speech.
Well, nobody likes Biden.
Yeah. Why do
even Americans, even Democrats don't like Biden.
They liked him at some point. Anyways, Trump, it's because of some of his stupid tweets he did.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you want to follow Putin, just don't talk as much as like have.
So how about Elon? You think the Muslim world as a whole likes Elon or doesn't?
I don't have too much of an opinion on him because he's not really for or against it, you know?
Because I feel like he tweeted some stuff on Palestine. A lot of Muslims didn't like it.
Yeah. I don't know, Elon.
But people like him because he's like an innovator.
Yeah, he's an innovator.
So he's like
an entrepreneur, you know? Yeah, he did make Wi-Fi for Gaza in some way with Starlink.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. When the net was down, or at least for the orphanages.
Yeah, he's hard to pin down, probably.
Yeah, but I think he's so smart. Like I think, and I think that's a lot of people, they don't realize, like when you think about like influencer marketing, why does Apple spend billions of dollars on marketing and Tesla spends zero? It's because Elon Musk is the influencer. Like, people don't realize he's generally tweeting 5-6 times a day. Yes. That's himself tweeting. He said it.
I had a debate with him years ago in 2016. We were at an event.
He's an influencer.
And he said, Tai, do you think I need Snapchat for Tesla? And I was like, 10 minutes. I was like, yes, here's the reason why. At the end, he goes, no, I think you're wrong. I think I have such a good product, it'll sell itself. I used to tell people for years, I got in a debate with Elon and he shot me down. But I think I was right. Because 2022, he bought a network. He bought Twitter.
Yeah, true.
Because now he realized you have to have social media, and now the best thing to do is control the platform.
Yeah.
Trust me, that algorithm favors his tweets.
Yeah, of course, probably.
You'll see his 100%. Tweets sometimes have like 22 million.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That makes sense. Okay,
I like this question. So, Muslim world, because America, it's very complicated with America and the Muslim world, right? Because like America, most Americans don't care, but America can be a racist country for sure. Yeah. Most countries are racist. Like I live around the world, Brazil, everybody likes their own people.
Yeah.
Okay. But what do you think the Muslim world overall thinks of the U.S.?
They don't like them.
No.
Yeah. Overall, if you talk like the normal person.
Yeah, the average person.
Yeah,
Dubai, like the average person, Pakistan, the average person.
It's difficult because
Palestine.
Obviously you want to think whatever your government thinks.
Yeah.
And it's hard to really the governments do what benefits their country more than what they think about their philosophies, So obviously if a country is getting a lot of help from US, even if they don't agree with them, they probably But I think the average Muslim person, internally what they think about US is they don't really like US. Just because it's always been it's always been some kind of enemy. And I think that, there's a video, I think it's George Bush, where he said if there wasn't a Israel in the Middle East, we'd have to invent one. Have you seen that video where he says that?
No.
Yeah, there's
sounds like something Bush. That's from Texas. That sounds like something somebody from Texas would say. That's a Texan saying.
If it wasn't for
there's America and then there's Texas.
Yeah, no, I don't know if exactly it was George Bush. I'm pretty sure it was, but it was one huge. Biden, huh? Yeah. So and I think that's the thing is the East, they know they have the oil and they always wanted to control it.
Yeah.
And they basically came to the Muslim countries, the Muslim countries, and they just basically stole all their rights from them, or they basically stole all their goods from them. All our natural resources. So,
I told you money,
money
and politicians.
Anyways, let's take a step back. I mean, we can talk about this for hours, but a lot of people watching this, I want them to extract as much value as they can in terms of their personal life. So, what would you say, for somebody who's starting in today's market, they have no money, $100 in their pocket.
Yeah.
What should they do?
If you're homeless, sleeping in a car, learn phone sales. First. Learn how to sell, commissions.
They're not sleeping in a car. They're like a kid. They live with their family, average middle.
So that's if you're completely desperate. Yeah. That's the quickest. If you're doing okay, then the best is a service business. Either SMMA agency.
Still SMMA.
Or e-com agency. Manage people's Shopify accounts. You can learn Shopify is the most powerful, valuable tech startup in modern history. It was worth 2 years ago, it was worth 160 billion.
Yeah,
more than Shell Oil, more than McDonald's. So learn Shopify, and you can charge businesses $1,000 to monitor their Shopify, upload SKUs,
You wouldn't do that versus actually creating your own Shopify store, I
was going to say that's the next thing. So service-based business is of my students, service-based business, because you're getting money from people who already have money.
Yeah.
Business owners.
Easier.
You could start a video editing agency. You can start a podcast editing. You can do a customer support agency. You can do a bookkeeping agency. So it's phone sales if you're broke. Next is a service-based agency. Next is a product.
Because you can invest some money into it.
Yeah. So physical product, like an e-com.
Yeah, makes
sense. You can do drop shipping. Look, last year I did 200 million in physical e-com. I know the space very well.
Wow.
Yeah. I did more than anybody teaching it all combined. So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I own big companies, dude. I own one of the biggest furniture companies in America. So I bought a lot of businesses. So you've got that. So you can also do a digital product. Then above that, buy companies. That's where most wealth is created. Elon Musk didn't build Tesla, he bought it. He didn't build Twitter, he bought it. So those are kind of your order. It's sales, services, products, mergers and acquisitions.
Interesting.
That's
basically what we did with PayPal as well. It's like a merger. Yeah, right. X.com.
Peter Thiel started it.
Yeah.
If you look at what made Mark Zuckerberg the only person in modern history to be worth $100 billion under age 37, Mark Zuckerberg. What did he do? He built, but then to create ultimate wealth, he bought Instagram and he bought WhatsApp.
Yeah, true.
Bernard Arnault, the second richest man in the world. Louis Vuitton, he bought 60 brands. Yeah, Warren Buffett, if you go to Wikipedia, look at Warren Buffett's holdings, it's over 100 companies.
Yeah.
So mergers and acquisition, Mukesh Ambani,
Reliance Industries.
He has a big holding company.
Yeah, true.
So that's kind of the levels, that you can go to.
Interesting. Okay, what's this is like a deep question because I feel like you have very interesting stuff on like the deep topics of life. So if you could have a crystal ball in front of you and it could tell you truth about anything.
Yeah.
It's a magic crystal ball.
Yep.
It could tell you truth about yourself as Tai, as a person, or it could tell you truth about the future, or about anything else. Like you could ask it, like, I don't know, what day your parents are going to die, what day you're going to meet the love of your life, what day, anything. So you could prepare for it, how much money you're going to make. What would you ask it? You can only ask it one question.
That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that.
It's a deep one.
So is it only predictions of dates or any question?
Any one question you could ask. So you could ask, what's the way I could make $1 billion, I guess.
No, I would ask, what's my unknown unknowns? What do I not know that I don't know? Because the things you don't know,
you can learn.
Yeah, then you go out and that doesn't scare.
Yeah.
It's your weak link that destroys you. Like that's like for some men, it can be women. You can have a woman in your life that could be your downfall.
That's my answer. The name and phone number of the person I should marry, which would be ideal.
That could be
because I feel like that's your one thing you're vulnerable in life is because you can work on everything. You can become the best version of man as you want. And you pick this one girl, and humans have to live with a soulmate. You can't live alone.
Yeah.
So you have to have this one person. You don't know anything about how they've. You don't know in 2 years. When you meet her, she seems perfect. You've done all the research, but 2 years from now, she becomes gay, or she becomes a drug addict, or anything. Yes. Your life completely changes. It's
25% of people are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I said my question is the same thing. What's my unknown unknown? For some people, the answer might be, get that woman out of your life.
Yeah.
For other people, it can be like,
get that business partner. Get that.
Yeah, a business partner betray you. I tell people when I do a big talk, there's 1,000 people in a room. I spoke once to 30,000 people on stage, and I said, I got good news and bad news for you. Some of you here are going to become a millionaire this year. Some of you are going to become 10 million. Some of you are going to be worth $1 billion. And there's somebody ready to betray you, and they're in your life, and you don't know who they are. Might be a woman, might be a man, might be a business partner, might be a cousin, uncles. Yeah, so the unknown, I would ask the crystal ball, what's my biggest unknown? I'm sure I have more than one, but tell me the one.
Most significant.
Yeah, your weak link, man. Achilles. Achilles had armor everywhere, but the one spot he didn't have it by his foot. That's where the arrow hits you.
Yeah.
What's my Achilles heel?
All right. Okay. That's very interesting. Good answer. All right. What's something difficult that you've been through in your life that most people may not understand?
You mean that average person won't understand?
Yeah.
I mean, being well known, the problem is...
No, like it's one of your friends. Your friends that you haven't realized like how hard it was. I mean, yeah, okay, you can talk about being... something specific.
Here's my answer.
In your life, that's something specific that happened.
You get everything. Okay, I'll tell you the general, then I'll tell you specific. You can get anything you want, but it'll take you 2 years longer than your plan. That's the hardest part. So I've had goals like, by this age, I'll have this much money. And then you don't quite hit it, and you're like, oh, and you're going to give up. But 2 years later, you get it. So I think the biggest obstacle to most people is you try to tell the universe, I have to have it by this date. And the universe is like, oh, you try to tell me what to do? Yeah. It's like you try to tell God, by age 30, I'll be a millionaire. And then you're not. And then most people give up right there. That's going to be your hardest thing, is thinking that the whole world's on your timeline when really it's kind of like if you have kids, like
you're on its timeline.
Yeah. Well, your kids sometimes ask for stuff that's not good for them.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to have more ice cream, but ice cream's not good. So you don't grant the wish.
Yeah.
So even as a father, you don't grant the wish that the child will want. Well, sometimes in the universe, we're trying to manifest things that are bad for us. So the hardest thing you're going to deal with, you can get anything you want, but it's going to take you 2 years longer than you planned.
Why 2 years? Like just average?
For me, that's what was that? 18 months longer. You're like, oh yeah, man. Here's my. It's like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan till I punch him in the face. Yeah. Everybody has a plan till like life throws something at you.
True.
Think about COVID. Think about all this stuff. It's like
and people had a plan. And COVID was 2 years.
Yeah, there you go. You doubted my 2 years.
I shouldn't have doubted Tai's 2 years. All right. Okay. And then what's like something specific in your life that you went through that most people may not understand that was very challenging? And that's specific to you. Certain obstacle or a certain life event.
I mean, my best friend Zach died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like that. The death of, he was a close friend. Everybody knew him on my social media, but it's not about social media. Like sometimes the hardest thing is sometimes the best people die young. And then you're like, man, I know 100 people that should have died before my friend Zach. Yeah. He was the nicest guy, loyal friend. I'm like, why'd this guy die first?
Yeah.
Just boom, healthy. I remember I was on my farm and he came up to me. I was looking to buy a farm and I was going to build a house, and his mom and dad were there. And I was like, we can build a house. You can have this farm. I have a farm a couple kilometers away. You can live. And he said, man, something weird started happening. I started fainting. I said, what? He's like, yeah, the doctor's doing some blood tests and it'll probably be okay. And I was like trying to be positive. I'm like, oh, it'll be okay, man. 2 weeks later, he said, got my blood test. The doctor said, this was in July. He said, the doctor said, prepare to die. Prepare your will. You'll be dead by December. Got that message. I'm like, what the? So he was a warrior. He lived 3 months longer than they said. He lived till March. So I think somebody dying before,
that's close to you. Of course,
that's like this person. It's like, but like my grandma lived 102.
Yeah.
She died. And I was very sad. Like, I never cry. Like, but I'd say in the last 10 years, I cried when my grandma died. But it felt okay. She lived to 102.
Yeah.
It was her time. Yeah, it was her time. So it's a different kind of sadness versus, why that guy? So,
You're not expecting it. I guess when your grandma was 102, you knew it was coming soon.
You knew. Yeah. She wanted to die by that time. Once she hit about 98, she's like, I'll die.
Yeah.
But a close friend.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better to get a warning when someone you know is going to die and they tell you like 6 months, or is it better when they just die?
If they're young, a warning.
Okay.
Because I had a good 6 months with Zach.
Yeah, you enjoyed it at least.
Yeah, man. It was like, it was there. It was crazy.
So at least that's
the doctor said he'd be dead in December, but we got him in like really good. He tried all kinds of stuff. And I remember I was in another city and I got a phone call and his brother said, I think he'll be dead this weekend. Dude, I started crying like right on phone call, like I said. And I got on an airplane. I said, I got to drop everything. I was in the middle of complicated business. I dropped everything, flew it's like hard to get to where he was. I get there. I rush to the hospital in like a Uber, and I get there and I walk in and he looked up and he said, hey buddy. And he shook my hand, and then he went into a coma. And I was like,
no.
Because I was the last person to see him that he saw. But
damn.
But I'm glad I had those heads up. If he would have just died suddenly, then you'd think, I wish I should have said stuff, man. I should have had, like, I didn't have regrets.
Yeah.
So it's better to have heads up, man.
Yeah.
Both ways suck.
Yeah. How did you get over it? Are you over it now? Or do you still like...
You're never over. It's funny. He's like my good friend. Sometimes he was a funny guy. It's like I see a funny Insta and I'm like going to DM him and I'm like, fuck. And like, it's crazy with social media. Like he still follows me on Twitter, because it's like his account. Yeah. So I think,
feel like he's still around,
I don't think you ever
get
overcome it. But my grandma always said, I say, grandma, he lives on in our memories. Yeah. So he's still alive. That's all you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we all die. We all die.
Someone I know had both experiences. So one of my friends, his dad passed away and his grandfather passed away, both of them.
Yeah.
But he told me that the grandfather was like, I don't remember which way it was, but one of them was like an instant death, and one of them was like they were sick and they didn't know if he was gonna make it or not.
So what was his
cancer.
opinion?
He said definitely the one that hurt more was the cancer one, which he didn't know. When he got the warning, they told him 2 months. Oh yeah. Because he said, when they just die, it's like the bandage is ripped and you start healing. But when it's a point where you don't know, you get the news that it might be 2 months, but you don't know, is it for sure? So during that time, you don't know, should I start healing or should I be hopeful? Should I be thinking, why am I thinking about death? Like he's going to be okay 100%. So he had that 2 months of like severe, every part of him was questioning itself, being like, I should be ready, getting prepared. And every part of him was telling him, are you stupid? Why are you preparing for someone's death? They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Be positive, you know, be optimistic. So he said like, it was so challenging, that back and forth.
Yeah.
And in the end, like, it just hit him so hard when it happened, because it was like, I thought he might end up living, you know?
You know what I tell people? There's a good takeaway from this. Once a week, at least, wake up, take a piece of paper, write a letter to an old friend or a family member. Could be a cousin, could be a brother.
Someone different every time.
Could be an old high school friend. Then take a picture of it and send it and text it to them. So it's like kind of modern. You don't mail it to them because it's hard.
Yeah.
But dude, people are blown away. It's like we live in a world now where we're supposed to be connected, but actually people are more isolated than ever. So take the time, because you'll look back and be like, no matter what happens, I didn't take my friends for granted.
Yeah.
A lot of people take people for granted.
And they say that the last words, they're like, this person died, but he knew I loved them, and I got to say a last message.
That's right. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't tell people that you love them, even when you love them.
You know, there was a singer, Bob Marley.
Yeah.
And, you know, he got a infection in his foot and died very young, or unexpected kind of. And they said on his deathbed, his last words were, money can't buy life. Because he was rich. He would have taken all of his money to fix. So that's why I said, I have this, I'll tell you a framework. I haven't told many people this.
Exclusive.
This is pretty exclusive. Yeah. I don't know if I haven't told anybody this on a podcast. The best way to live your life, I've tried different philosophies, permutations, all this. 50-50 rule. Live your day 50% of the day as if you die at midnight. And 50% as if you live for 50 more years. So that means like some of the day I call up family and there's no purpose to it. Just talking to them, because if you were going to die,
at least you talk to them.
You would talk to them.
Yeah.
And then 50% of the day, I'm planning like my businesses are going to last forever.
Nice.
Because
you need the balance.
And it is less efficient than, for example, if you want to get rich,
100%.
then you should just do 100% like you're going to live 50 years.
Yeah.
But Steve Jobs said, you know, billionaire, said, I didn't want to be the richest man in the graveyard, but that's what he became. Didn't even live to much past 50. So it's like, you know, there was a dude, I was reading a crazy story of a guy who became a billionaire. You know, Cash App?
Yeah. You can send money to people. Yeah.
That dude just got stabbed on the streets of San Francisco a couple months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't
Think of it. You worked his whole life.
Wow.
American dream. Not even American dream. The global dream.
Yeah. He made it.
Sold it for $1 billion.
Yeah.
Random act of violence on the streets of San Francisco. Just
Random.
Just happened. It was like a homeless dude.
No reason. Oh, homeless dude. Drug
like
addict, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm saying the guy didn't target him for money. It was just so when you think, if you live the 50-50 framework, hopefully that day the guy wrote something.
Yeah, because I'm sure he must have the sacrifice to be that type of person that he was. He probably didn't spend that much time with his family.
Yeah.
He probably didn't have that many friends, social life.
Yes. It's better, like I say, that the purpose of life is the beautiful life. What is beauty? Beauty is ratios. A beautiful face is like the right ratios. Yeah, symmetry. So like the purpose of life is the beautiful life. That divides into 4 pillars: health, wealth, love, happiness. Then those break down each into 3. I call that the 12 foundations. Then those break down the 3 into, I call it the 36 tenets. So you have 1, 4, 12. But just think of the 4 pillars to keep it simple. So you got these 4 things. It's better to bring all 4 up at the same time than just try to get wealthy. Your health sucks. Your love life. I've seen people do that. It doesn't work right.
They can never improve the other one later.
Yeah, you can't. It's like, I see people saying sacrifice your 20s so you can enjoy your 30s. I don't like that one. Like, I think you should, when you're in your 20s, you should do some things that you can only do in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like, I think people should look, if you look at wealth, the wealthiest people get married and have kids pretty young. Some people are like, I'm going to not have kids till I create wealth. Well, Elon Musk had like 6 kids before age 30. Jeff Bezos had kids before 30. So I think you can bring up all of them at the same time. But Jeff Bezos didn't work out till he was about 50.
Yeah.
He should have done it younger.
Yeah. But Mark Zuckerberg is, I think, doing it because he's
He's
working
doing it
on
better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True,
he's
true.
got love. He's
And I
got
think the only way
kids.
Jeff Bezos did now is like a bunch of supplements and testosterone shots.
That's
In the ass.
That's juice right there. That's a little. That's TRT trend.
Yeah, exactly.
And probably not trend. He's not doing that.
Yeah,
much.
but definitely at least testosterone because I think at that age you can't get any muscle without it. So that is a trade-off. But it's very interesting the way you mentioned that. I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Have you revealed your net worth publicly?
You know, people always say there's so many. I'll tell you, this is my answer.
Online it's at 60 million.
Yes, 60. I've seen it say 300 million. I've seen for many years. You know, Mr. Beast, he texted me years ago and he's like, I want to come meet you. You're my inspiration. You're my role model.
Wow.
So he came up to visit me. Actually, right before I came to Dubai in 2019. First time I came to Dubai.
Okay.
And his question after I took him to a Knicks basketball game. We hung out and then he's like, I got one question. He's like, is your net worth only $5 billion? And I told him, as a man, try to SEO optimize your net worth to be 5 million. Here's why. Okay. You can go for more, but it's vanity.
Yeah.
There's always someone richer.
Yeah.
If you get it too high, women start to Google you. So if you show 5 to 10 million net
you're
worth,
successful, you're smart, but you're not like.
Yeah, exactly. And most wealthy people, if you ask them, they were happiest when their net worth is 5 to 10 million. So if your net worth starts showing up on the internet, what is mine showing now? 60. Try to optimize it down. I know that goes against what people say, but I've tested it. It doesn't give you as much benefit as you want. It doesn't. Plus, most of this shit, I've got one of my mentors, I've got business with 3 guys on the Forbes list. Their life's not that good. In fact, I wouldn't trade for any of their lives, but they know me. A lot of them would trade for my life.
Of course, yeah.
So 5, 10, you know, the art of war.
Yeah, Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu said, when strong, appear weak. That's better.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, people get kidnapped.
You know,
Mark Zuckerberg spent 32.
You did very good at avoiding the question of what is your net worth. But it's fine.
5 million.
5 million.
5 million is good.
Now, after this video, the SEO is going to track the 5 million is going to be the one.
That's fine. Whatever people think, man.
Perfect.
Here, I'll tell you this. For my personality type, money has diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So, like, realistically, I once did a poll of the collective mind of this world. Most people would like to have minimum liquid net worth of 10 million. That's probably a good number. You got 10, 20 million sitting around.
You're good.
You can do stuff. I got other friends. I have some, I tell you, sometimes I've seen people optimize for high net worth and lose to people who optimize for purpose.
Yeah. They say if you walk, the person who walks because he enjoys walking will go further than the person who walks because he's trying to walk.
Because what happens is it's extrinsic and intrinsic
motivation.
So a good rule of thumb is if you do something, I feel like you like podcasts.
Yeah, I do.
If you could only make $100,000 for the rest of your life and you were stuck, you might do it as a podcast.
Yeah.
So you would, it's not just the money.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
If you knew you could only make, let's say anything you did, you'd only make $40,000 a year. Maybe you'd do podcasts.
I would.
So that's good.
I love it.
And by doing that, like Joe Rogan, I think he liked doing podcasts. Of
course, yeah.
So and out of that, he got a $200 million. I think it was actually $200 million. People say 100
million. Yeah, I heard.
Nah, I know the real deal.
Yeah?
It's closer to 200.
Wow.
I don't know 100%, but
my
my sources said, nah, it's more like 200.
Wow.
So
and he deserves it. He's the number one by far.
Yeah, but the point is, he was doing that back. I remember his podcast was like 07 or something. Whatever it was, 08.
Have you been on it? No, yeah.
You know, he DM'd me many years ago, and I never replied to him because I never checked Twitter.
Yeah.
It's just like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast texted me on Twitter in 2017. I didn't even see it till 2019.
No.
Luckily, he wasn't offended.
2 years later, he got what he wanted 2 years after.
2 years, exactly. So I think I've anybody, if you ever DM me on Twitter,
wait 2 years.
I literally didn't open my Twitter DMs till 2019.
I DM you on Instagram.
There was crazy people in my DMs. I was like, what?
So Joe Rogan's like, he told you missed the train. Like the bus has left the
Never.
station.
When I finally responded, he never responded back.
He's like, fuck this guy, man.
He changed his mind. He was like, come on the podcast. And I didn't.
He probably thought that because you didn't respond so long that you were waiting for his podcast to come as big. So he's like, oh, now I'm the Joe Rogan.
I don't even know what. Yeah, I don't
Tai
know what
Lopez
it
wants
was.
to come on my podcast.
But I always felt bad. So if I offended anybody, also Instagram DMs. I've gotten DMs from such big people, and sometimes like. Man, there was a time I remember I could break the Snapchat inbox. Snapchat, my reps actually wrote to me and said, stop doing that. I would do a live giveaway.
Yeah. And
I would go, hey.
Message me
on Snap. Dude, I recorded it. You could it would go like, I actually, after one period of time, I had the Guinness Book World Record for Instagram comments. I got 254,000 in 45 minutes.
What?
Yeah. I know all the hacks that guys like Mr. Beast do, like Andrew Tate. I had a big affiliate program. My thing, though, I realized early I didn't like being that famous. I thought, by the way, I would love being famous.
You didn't?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this will be badass. Then I finally started to hit, and I was like...
Your house got stolen.
Dudes went to prison, fans. I had guys with machine guns outside my house. I had to buy 2 German Shepherds, attack people. And like
you lost all your freedom.
Yeah, you lose freedom. You also lose
peace of mind.
You know what I tell you? So on a 1 to 10 scale of fame, okay, be a 7 or an 8. So here's the rule: if you're a 7, anywhere you go in the world, once a month, somebody recognizes you on the street. That's a 7.
It's nice.
An 8, okay, once a week.
Yeah.
Perfect. A 9, once a day. A 9.5, once an hour.
Yeah.
A 10 is every minute. That's Donald Trump.
Cristiano, yeah.
You never be a 10.
Yeah.
I've been like a 9, 9.5. It's overrated.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
Yeah.
So now I try, like I didn't post for like 2 years on social media.
So you're getting a good balance.
I got back to a 7.
Yeah.
I got enough views. I've got 2.3 billion minutes watched on YouTube. Wow. I'll never be able to go that much. I'm like the lowest I could get myself to is like 7.5, because when I talk, it's crazy how many people know my voice. Yeah. Like I let my hair grow long. I got LASIK, so I don't need glasses, and people have a hard time. But if I talk, people stop me. You know, YouTube one time did a poll. My YouTube reps are like, Tai, 65% of America, if we show a picture, knows your name. So, like, I can't imagine being Donald Trump. Like,
yeah,
you get that famous, boy.
Question.
Yeah.
I mean, you said a lot of very interesting things, and I love these frameworks you have and like these rules and these principles. You know, I think it really helps your life if you have like these set principles. Question. Then, I know you made your first $1 million at the age of 30.
Yeah, or maybe according to a little earlier. I don't think that's quite right, but yeah, let's say whatever.
Okay, so that's what I read. So what I wanted to ask you is, in today's world, everybody's trying to make, you know, like Iman Gadzi, like, you know, whatever, multiple, you know, 7-figure, you know, like 20 million by like 21, 22. And if they don't, they feel like, you know, and for me personally as well, you know, so why do you think that this is right to have this much urgency? Or because look at you now. I mean, right now you made it way further than a lot of people who made 1 million at, for example, 20 or 25 or whatever, you know? So what would you say is your thoughts on that? Like making money early, and a lot of people who have this like desire, this like burning desire to be successful at such a young age, which I feel like I have, which definitely stresses me out a lot.
Well, here's the thing. If it stresses you out too much, you're going to underperform.
Yeah.
So push yourself, but when you push yourself, don't push yourself to full freak out or you underperform. Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, used to say, the best place to be is where you push yourself hard, like 9 out of 10 exertion, but you actually succeed. So if you start setting a goal, like there's 5 billionaires self-made under age 30 in the world. 5. One's Kylie Jenner. Okay. One's the Snapchat founder, Evan Spiegel. Yeah. One, I think, is the Gymshark guy.
Maybe. Bolt. I know Bolt is one of the youngest billionaires. The owner of Bolt.
Yeah, but not anymore, I don't think.
Oh, really?
That was I thought Bolt went way down.
Oh, really?
But whatever. The point is, so set a goal you can hit if you do maximum effort. So I think it's fine to become, look, so many of my students have become millionaires, but I was with another one. Every country I go to, the richest young kid is my student. Everywhere, man. I got into Denmark during COVID. No American was allowed in. I got in because my student is like the youngest millionaire in Denmark. He got his lawyer to write me a letter. So, like, they're not all. I'm not Brazil. Probably the wealthiest young kid in Brazil. My student. These are guys with millions at 16, 17.
Wow.
Some of them have crazy mental problems. Depression, anxiety, isolation. So for me, if you're 18, 19, 20.
Because some of the biggest billionaires, they got successful very late. You know, like Jeff Bezos.
Warren Buffett started at 9, became a billionaire at 51. So for me, it's like, here's what you set your goals. Bring all 4 things, have 4 goals. So for example, let's say you're an 18-year-old guy. Be like, I want to get 18-inch biceps. I want to narrow it down to the ideal woman, maybe not 18, whatever, 20. How old are you?
21.
21. I want to make X amount of money, and I want to experience this many minutes of bliss, pure happiness every day. Bring them all up, because if another dude makes more money, you'll eventually beat him. You know the story of the tortoise and the hare, that old?
Yeah, of course.
Like the turtle and the rabbit. That thing's real. I can tell you this. I'll tell you this. A lot of the people that got rich under 25 that are my students, I'm worried about. I don't know if they're going to have long-term wealth. Because one thing, I see them getting too cocky. I'm seeing get too cocky. And I've seen you get too cocky with making money, your competitors fly past you. They stop listening. It's funny. Some of I had to tell, I won't say this is an American guy. I helped him become rich. I took him from 2 million. He was already pretty successful, 2 million revenue, and he shot up to like 50 to 100 million.
Wow.
But he got so cocky, that empire started to fall apart, because I told him, I said, dude, what got you here was mentors and books. And now that you're here, you have no mentors, no books. You don't listen to me at all, even though you used to listen to me and I got you there. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah. So I'll tell you that the wealthiest dudes I know are the most humble guys. It's weird. Billionaires are simultaneously the humblest people and the most warlords. They're a weird combo. So I see some of my students, not necessarily the ones you name, but other students in every country, the ones who got wealthy fast but forgot what got them there, I already see their empire starting to fall.
Yeah, I think,
and that's the worst thing. Get rich young and then lose it.
Yeah, like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
They say, I think Sam Ovens said this, but basically, like, they make all this money, and then the money, they buy these things, and the things distract them from the things. Like, because now their lifestyle is like, well, if you have vacation homes in certain parts of the world, you're gonna go to them a lot more.
But I don't even think that's what messes you up. I think it's cockiness.
Yeah,
I think you could have a Bugatti. I think I was just with my friend here in Dubai. He's under 30. He's got his Bugatti and all that, but he's staying humble. He listens. I can tell by people. You know how women, you can tell if she's attracted by pupils dilating? Men the same way. When they're listening to you, humans, it's not attraction. It's like listening.
Yeah. So
that guy, he's fine. He can have the Bugatti under 30. He's got.
It's not cocky.
Yeah. So I hope you become wealthy, but you don't have to have a ridiculous goal. It's like people trying to become a billionaire. Billionaire has more luck than you think. One of my mentors, Tillman Fertitta, he's on the Forbes list, $7 billion. You know, he owns the Houston Rockets basketball team.
Yeah.
His nephews own the UFC. I mean, it's a baller family, and he built it from scratch. He's like, my life story is like, Tai, my wealth is like, I got lucky because he owed a bank millions of dollars when he was young. You heard of me?
No. I just assumed
the bank went bankrupt, and in America, the FDIC government regulatory company took control of the bank,
and they forgot about this.
And they were so bureaucratic, they forgot for 5 years to call him. Hey, you owe us millions of dollars. He said if that luck event hadn't happened, he's like, I would have been wiped out instantly. So he's not that cocky.
Yeah.
Like he flew to my house. He's like, yo, I want to grow out. Will you help me do my book? Like billionaires ask. Sometimes I see my multi-millionaire students more cocky than I know some billionaires sitting on one of my mentors has $2 billion in cash. You know how few people have $2 billion in cash?
Very rare.
Most people, the rich don't always have $2 billion. And this guy's asking me questions. And this kid who's got 2 million thinks he's a god. Be careful, man.
Yeah.
Pride comes before a fall. You know?
Yeah. So, okay, for most people who have a business right now,
Yeah.
what do you say, like, let's say average entrepreneur, they have like a small agency, they have a small, like they're doing like editing or they're doing a small service-based agency or e-com store. What do you think is the most common mistake they make? Because that's probably the majority of my audience.
So if you have an agency, here's the thing. Agencies, one of my students, he scaled his agency, sold it for 17 million when he was like 26. Wow. So you can scale an agency, but a lot of times agencies become hard to scale.
It's based on you.
That's what I told you. What you can do though is you build the agency skill. You're doing marketing, you're doing SMMA. Introduce your own product that you're doing your own marketing for. Be your own customer.
Yeah. So we're doing that like for influencers, make them their
That's
own
right.
products. Yeah.
And you need to take an equity split.
Yeah, of course.
That's a good business.
Yeah.
So what they forget, and then eventually you need to learn to buy businesses.
Yeah.
The 10 out of the wealthiest men in the world
just buy businesses.
Bought businesses.
But what, like, let's say running their business, what mistakes do you think they're making?
I think people.
Maybe it's hiring. Maybe it's not sticking with the trends enough.
No, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they stop doing what works and they chase the new shiny object. You got to grind it out a little bit, man. You got to grind it out so they get bored too quick. Yeah,
like I'm sure you do. When you started doing Google Ads, nobody was willing to pay for it, but you stuck into it, or SMMA. Yeah. You stuck into it.
Don't get bored so quick. Yeah. The average entrepreneur is novelty dopamine driven person. So what makes them successful is trying new things. But then once it works, they keep chasing. And I'm like, yo. In fact, at that dinner, there was a dude. I just had this conversation 1 hour ago. He goes, I go, how much are you netting? 15 million. He's young. He ain't that much older than you. He's netting 15 million US.
Crazy.
So he was telling me, before he told me that, a year, that he's bored. And he's like, I'm thinking of moving on. I said, how much are you netting again? 15 million net. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? That cash flow business will fund every other idea you ever want. I said, don't kill the... there's a saying in America, you kill the goose that lays the golden egg. So number one thing I see people, don't be weak. It's weak to be bored easily. Don't be controlled by your feelings. So you're running an agency and you go, oh, I've been doing this for 6 months. I'm bored. Forget your emotions. Manipulate your own mind versus your mind manipulate. I used to say, don't be the bitch of your own brain.
Be the master.
If it's working, keep going. Now, you don't need to do it for 30 years. But my mentor used to say, you can do anything you want. A man can do anything he wants as long as it's not forever. So grind it out for a couple years. Take the cash flow and spin it slowly into something else you want to do. But don't be getting bored. Boredom is only fools. I mean, only low IQ people get bored.
Yeah.
I turn it into a game. When I get bored with operations, I'm like, how can I hire a COO? How can I build a better org chart? How can I create automated training so I don't have to, perfect it.
Automating and perfecting.
There's a great poem by a Native American, Chief Tecumseh, and he said, love your life, perfect your life, beautify your life. So if you have a business and it's making you money, love your business, perfect your business, make your business beautiful. I used to tell some people, Harvard's going to do a case study on our company. So you got a little agency doing $10,000 a month, be like, one day, the best business people in the world are going to ask me, can I have your business operations manual? How'd you do that?
So you have to scrutinize every single aspect.
That's right. Yeah. Be an artist. Be like Pablo Picasso. You paint it. Do things different. So you should never get bored. You should never there is a time to move on. But you said, what do most entrepreneurs are wrong?
This is it.
Quick to boredom.
So
too many video games. Don't play video games.
Don't play video games.
I stopped playing video games, thank God, at like 13. That was a good age to stop.
I never really played.
So I lost respect. I have an entrepreneur friend. He makes a couple $1 million profit a year, but he told me, I haven't talked to him since. He makes $7 million. He plays 7 million. He plays 7 hours of video games a day.
Wow.
I was like, oh man, I can't hang out with you. We were never that close of friends, but I'm like, I'm like, he's 25. Plays 7 hours a year is good, or a month at the most.
Yeah, it's
but video games there's a good book called The Shallows, how video games and the internet is reprogramming our brain to be shallow. This guy wrote a book 10 years ago. You know how much more true that book is now? The Shallows.
Yeah, of course.
Now with TikTok, I'll tell you this, doom scrolling.
How do you get over it?
Set a timer, 20 minutes a day.
TikTok I deleted, but Reels sometimes you can catch me 30 minutes.
I had to delete. Sometimes it's good to just delete an app.
For a week, yeah.
I deleted Twitter for like a month.
Yeah.
Twitter has a lot of like cynical people.
But it's hard when you're building a personal, 100%, yeah, but it's all fights. It's hard when you're building a personal brand because your work is to be on that platform.
Yeah, but do 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It's enough.
You just need to upload. You don't need to
20 minutes a day. Yeah. You know what's good? I keep on my phone, keep iBooks.
Black and white? You know the black and white feature?
I got, but iBooks just keep, this is a new book I got. This is a good book. I keep a folder.
What is the book, just for anyone watching?
It's called The Hypomaniac. It's such a fact. Yeah. But you can see here in my iBooks, I keep my collections. I have how many total books? 730 books here.
Wow, 730 books, guys.
So when I find myself want to doom scroll, I actually made, though, a folder that I like the most called Geniuses. So it's the smartest people in history. There are 18 books in there, and they're all fascinating. So like The Selfish Gene, that's a good book. Will Durant, read Will Durant. So when I'm thinking of wanting to doom scroll, I go grab a fascinating book. Actually, a good one is to keep Mike Tyson's autobiography. It's super entertaining. But entertain yourself some other way, because I swear, I actually think the algorithms are the most... Oh, I play chess a lot.
Yeah, that's fun.
I play chess.
To play a game against you.
I got chess. Actually,
yeah,
look,
chess.com.
Without me doing it, if I just scroll down,
Me too.
I got chess.
Me too.
I got chess.
Chess right there.
Do anything but doom scroll.
Yeah.
Anything. Talk to women. Anything. Like a date. Do like nothing.
Yeah. So okay, let's finish it here then. Yeah. I know you have a very busy schedule.
Yeah.
Last question then, or let's say second last. I want to ask you as well. Think about this in the meantime. If there's any other questions I should have asked you that maybe I didn't, maybe something fascinating.
You got some good questions.
I feel like it's one of my. It's like that's why I do the podcast. Yeah. I'm very inquisitive as a kid. Anyway, so when it comes to morning routines, there's been a lot of talk about recently. Armozi was like bashing it.
Wake up at 3 in the morning. Who was bashing it?
Alex Armozi.
What was he saying though?
He said the 3-hour morning routine you do, throw it out the window and spend those 3 hours just working. After the gratitude journaling, he wasn't going to that extent, but basically, if I was to summarize it, he was like, fuck the meditation, fuck the gratitude journaling, just put in the work, you know?
Yeah.
But for example, another self-help person might say, oh no, it's all about the beginning, few minutes of the day, gratitude journal, meditate. What are your thoughts on, for example, let's say affirmations, gratitude journaling, and meditation? I guess that's the top 3 routines. And like having this as a morning routine. What are your thoughts on all this?
So I got mixed feelings, but I'll say this: be careful who you copy. One of my 67 steps, you were in my 67 steps. I don't know if you were in my. That was before probably you.
Oh yeah, that was your program.
That was my big like
the first program
mindset. Yeah, 67. One of the 67 steps that I learned from my millionaire mentors was, if you're gonna copy somebody, might as well copy the best. So if we want to know daily routine, Jeff Bezos in the last 10 years has probably been the wealthiest man. Now Elon passed him. So Jeff Bezos, you can read an interview. He's like, what I like to do when I wake up is spend the first hour,
the most important,
creative imagination. He sometimes just lays in bed thinking. So I was like, who should I listen to? I think I'll listen to Jeff Bezos. He made $1 trillion company. So I think what I like to do, let's say you wake up at 8 in the morning, 8 to 9, a lot of imagination. Even lay in bed. I don't think you should lay in bed for an hour. I've tried that.
You fall asleep.
No, it's not that. I just think it's too easy to like get stuck and start scrolling. So like I'll spend like 20, 30 minutes, but imagination. The wealthiest guy that I know personally is Steve Ballmer. He's he's worth 110 billion. Okay.
Oh, centibillionaire.
Yeah. I mean, it was him and Bill Gates built Microsoft, $2.7 trillion company. But I know him, and I had dinner. You know, one of the questions I asked him is like, what really creates wealth? There's so many theories out there. What you were saying, Hormozy or this other guy. Well, I could tell you what a guy worth 110 billion told me. He's like, ultimately, it's creativity. Who sees the same world but recombines it better? That's who becomes the wealthy. NASA was building spaceships. Wasn't a new idea. Elon Musk came in and is like, I'm going to recombine the same spaceship designs, but now they'll be reusable.
Yeah, reusable land.
So he's creative.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me that the most important part of your daily routine is 1 hour creative session. So do whatever that is. That could be walk, that could be lay in bed, but
walk is probably
don't start like scrolling. Don't do emails. By the way, I think if you're dating, like if you're using like Tinder or whatever, I think mating is important. Maybe the purpose of my mentor, Dr. Buss, says the purpose of life is to have kids.
Yeah.
So in the first hour, I think throw in interact with somebody, interact with romance. Do the most important thing to make money. It's creativity. So you're daydreaming. You can read a little bit. Arnold Schwarzenegger, very successful, $500 million net worth. One of the most popular. Yeah, most popular. His kids love him. I know Arnold.
He could be president, I feel like, if he wanted to.
He's just not allowed because he was born in Austria. Yeah. But his son, I'm in business with his son, Patrick. Like, I used to go to his birthday party. I interviewed him, and it's funny. I interviewed him. I asked him his daily routine. He wakes up at 4, and from 4 to 5, he says, I lay around, but I read. So, Jeff Bezos, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a good triangulation.
Yeah.
Then, there's a book by Cal Newport called Deep Work. 3 hours hardcore work. Money. So 8 to 9, you imagine, you do some important stuff, get some dating stuff in, family, write a letter to your mom, your grandma, something like that. Then at 9 to 12, work, lock yourself in. Do about an hour of maintenance, like emails, WhatsApp, voicemail, and then 2 hours of progress, building. Then at about 12, I like to intermittent fast in the morning. So I haven't eaten from 8 to 12. So then at 12, I eat. Then I think it's good to take a little nap before you go to the gym. Power nap, 15 minutes. I use meditation app, but not to meditate. It makes me fall asleep. Perfect. But I do think some meditate. Like, I'm balanced. Like, meditation ain't going to solve anything, but it doesn't hurt you.
It helps with focus, I feel like.
That's right. It allows you to clear the mind so you don't always have to doom scroll. So then from 12, let's say to 12:45, you eat. Then sleep I set my timer exactly 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So then at 1, go to the gym 5 hours after you woke up. You're the strongest. So then the best is pick a gym that's about 5 kilometers from your house. Uber to the gym. Okay. So then you get to the gym at 1:15, work out for, let's say, an hour to hour 45. Arnold Schwarzenegger said, I used to train with Dorian Yates. He won Mr. Olympia like Arnold like 5 or 6 times. Both of them say you shouldn't work out. If you're working out more than an hour and a half, you ain't working out hard enough.
Yeah.
Work out hard.
Or you're taking too many breaks.
Yeah. Dorian Yates, dude, he's like, nobody can work out with me for more than 45 minutes. I will destroy you. But then walk home from the gym. So then you get in 12,000 to 15,000 steps. But I do my business calls. I even work sometimes when I'm at the gym. Now, some people will say, but Tai, you won't get the best workout. Why ain't a pro athlete? I'm a pro businessman. So I think if I was a pro athlete, you should, by the way, if you're a pro athlete, then you don't do 3 hours of work. You do what Arnold does. 4 to 5, he imagines, reads. Then from 5 to 8, he works out physically because that was his job.
That's his grind,
Yeah, so basically then you get home at around 3 or 4. Then I think you can work a little more, do social life. I think you should have social life every day. Yeah, I would go out with friends.
I go crazy if I do.
You know, also I also tell people, integrate your life. Here's an example. If you're dating, if you're single, I don't want to go on a date with a girl I don't know and potentially waste my night. So I'd find some business event. I'd call a girl, I'd be like, you want to go on a first date? I got to go to this event. Come with me. Because that way, if I don't like the girl, you just ignore her and you do the business thing.
And it was a productive use of time. Anyway.
Exactly. So do 2 things at once.
Yeah. And also, I feel like she will see how smart you are doing that. She sees the status that you have.
No downside.
Very good idea.
Dude, I've almost never do a date where I go, like, let's go to dinner together or something.
Yeah.
Because then you're stuck with a girl for 2 hours. You find out she's boring. You're like, oh, man.
True.
Then you're doing phone calls are underrated for making money. Phone calls. I could call one-on-one your own team, close deals. So walking home, 12,000 steps, 2 things at once. I'm getting my 12,000 steps in and I get calls. The time goes fast.
Yeah.
And then I get home and I work a little more and do some social stuff. And then if you're doing personal brand, record the social stuff and that makes you money too. So you're making money everywhere you go.
Interesting. That was really good.
That's the best routine that I've ever seen. I do think like cold baths and all that stuff, do that after the gym.
But apparently that decreases the muscle building. Ice baths. That's what they said.
I built a program for myself called 150 Body off all my friends who are pro athletes. So LeBron James does it. And he's a good athlete with a lot of money. I don't believe, I like people. Now it's so funny. There's like hacking, biohacking, and there's like anti-biohacking. You're going to get, here's a practical piece of advice for most of you. Unfollow 90% of the people you listen to on social media because it's the blind listening to the blind. That's what I got with like health. I was listening, you listen to this guru's like keto. So I'm friends with
conflict each other.
But I'm friends with some guys that are in the NBA.
They're really bad.
One of my friends is Chris Paul. I don't know if you like basketball, but
really.
He made $300 million playing basketball. That's his salary so far.
What he's talking about.
Then he made $200 million with indoors. He's made about $600 million.
Yeah. Those
teams bring the best scientists in for him. I know exactly what he does. And he kind of does my schedule. I mean, on the body side. So he does some ice baths, but he's doing a lot of other stuff too. He has a chef. When you get money, chef.
Yeah, nutrition,
chef,
convenience.
But just a chef. Yeah. I had a chef. I got Will Smith chef came to be my chef for years. Chef Sean. Like that. It's hard.
You just poached the chef?
I didn't quite poach him, but he wanted to move, so no hard feelings.
Maybe he got slapped too many times.
No, this was before the slap. But yeah, don't follow so many people. Like I said, you want to do morning routine, put in the work. Yeah. Find out what Jeff Bezos does. Yeah. Put in the work. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Look at the top 1%. And
that's right.
Yeah. Don't be looking at
But when it comes to the body, look at pro athletes. What's Ronaldo doing? What's Messi doing? What's it? Yeah. Don't be listening. Because half the people giving advice on physical health, they're either on steroids or they don't look that good. Like some of them are like, or they're like 18.
What do they know? Natural.
You can eat.
They just have good genes. A lot of them just have really good genes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know who I follow? This dude. I'll have to send this link. I think his name's Alain Gustave. He's 80 years old and the dude's ripped.
Tank.
No, but not steroid ripped. He's some Switzerland guy. So I always, if you're going to follow a health dude, find an 80-year-old guy that can like run a marathon or has like, this guy does all body work. He does pull-ups.
That's his thing.
So be careful who you listen to, man.
Yeah.
Follow less people.
Man, this has been so insightful. I feel like there was like a bunch of things that you could learn from this, you know? Now I understand why people pay you $100,000 for like for like an hour. Anyways.
Tell everybody, take 12types.com.
12 types, guys. Take this.
And there's 3 quizzes on there.
Personality quiz, so you can know thyself. So you can understand what motivates you in life and what you need to change about your life and to find your one thing.
And I guarantee you, I built 12 types. My mentor, Dr. David Buss, gave me some insight. I guarantee you, those are the most important quiz you'll ever take.
Okay. Guys, go do that right now.
It's free too.
The video's done, so you have nothing else better to do. Anyways, to wrap it up, I mean, do you think there's any questions that I should have asked you that I didn't, or?
We'll do it when I come back to Dubai. We'll do a round 2. Perfect. If people like it.
Yeah.
If we get more than 10 views, I'll come back.
How many likes should we get on this video?
I don't care. We get 100 likes. I'll come back.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Leave 1 like.
Leave a comment. Me and Tai will be looking at the comments.
5 million net worth. 5 million likes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. 5 million likes, guys. Let's see.
Yeah, I won't be back then. I don't think we'll get 5 million.
All right, Tai. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
man. I appreciate it. All the best.
Yeah.